Tony Stewart, Part 2.
Meow. All right, we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2.
So you're a bigger guy. I also have a problem with keeping skinny for racing.
I just gave up. When you in a cup car, you can move the steering wheel anywhere you want.
Okay, so that's the difference between our deals, because generally we're sharing a car. When your teammate's got like a six-pack and I'm holding a six-pack, you're like, oh, I guess I got to look like that guy now. I always admired the fact that you were a bigger dude, seemed to enjoy yourself, could still run, throw down, beat anybody. And one of the quotes I heard was left side weight. Is that a Tony Stewart quote?
It wasn't for me because you still had a left side rule that you couldn't be over.
Ah, okay.
So
I didn't know that.
measure the crossway.
Yeah. Okay.
But you remember? I'm trying to think. I guess it would have been. Yeah, it was last year, because it was toward the end of the year when we went back to Loudon and it was really hot.
Yeah.
Dale Jr. was like a ghost. They said in the media center, and they hauled a net off in that gator with the hospital bed on the back of it. So, if you remember right, the King's Royal was the night before that.
Yeah.
We had 2 rain delays, and Larson rode with me. And I said, listen, at any point you're ready to go, just tell me and we'll leave.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm good. He goes, if you want to stay, we'll stay. I'm like, well, I personally want to stay. I said, but I know we both have to work tomorrow.
Right.
If you get tired or you decide you're ready to go, you tell me and we'll haul ass.
Yeah.
So they dropped the checkered flag. Immediately calls me. He goes, where do I meet you? I said, Victory Lane, idiot. He's like, well, we got to go. I'm like, you just won the King's Royal.
Man, yeah.
Go get your picture taken in Victory Lane with your driver.
Yeah.
I said, I'll bring a car down, pick you up, and we'll drive out. I said, but go to Victory Lane with your driver and your team. You just won a big race.
Job. Yeah.
So he goes down there. So we get back at 7:30 in the morning. We're rolling in the track at 7:30.
All right.
The crews are coming in, and they walk in Loudon. They walk right through the center of the bus lot and right into the garage area.
Okay.
From the tunnel. Kyle is driving the rental car. I'm in the shotgun, and the girls are in the back. And I'm watching up there, and Kyle, that's your crew up there. I'm like, do not pass those guys. I said, as a matter of fact, don't get any closer than what we are. I said, they won't look over their shoulder and look backwards.
Right.
They have no reason to.
Right.
I said, they won't even know we're gone. This idiot drives up to him. Not only does he drive up to him, he puts the right side, my side, right up to him. I'm like, I rolled the window down and said, hey, we just went down to Dunkin' Donuts to get breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Nope.
If it was anybody
They
who
would
if it
understood
would have been
what
any
they
other
were doing.
drivers but me, they would have bought that hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
The fact that it was me, they're like, bullshit, we know where you were at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We pull in, and so we pass them. We pull in. By the time we all get out, they've caught us, and they're looking at us. I'm like, seriously, we just had breakfast, guys. So I couldn't sleep and parked right next door to him, and he was already up. So he just drove us to go get breakfast. They didn't buy it. Larson ran like shit the whole day. I was running like shit the whole weekend, so I didn't care either way.
Sure, yeah.
I ran exactly where I'd practiced all weekend. And all these guys are dropping like flies after the race, like passing out and going to the ground. I get out, I'm like, what happened? What happened to Annette? He said, I don't know. He passed out when he got out of the car. They said, Dale Jr.'s in the media center. They said he's about to pass out too. I'm like, they said, was it that hot? I'm like, oh, I didn't think so. It was warm, but I said, you know how I am. The warmer the better. I mean, the hotter it gets, the slicker it gets, and the slicker it gets, the better it is for us.
Right.
So I never complained about being hot unless my feet were burning, and that happened a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But so I mean, you look at Casey Kane this year. I mean, here's a kid that's doing these triathlons with Jimmy and this and that. Hell, he can't even stand up after the Brickyard. I was at the Brickyard sweating my ass off on the pit box. I'm like, it was hot. It wasn't that hot.
Right.
Like, hell, I'm not working out. I don't want to pass out like these guys.
Yeah.
I get out of the car, I was fine,
Well, and if
bother me.
My statistics may be wrong, but you're the only driver that's actually done the full 1,100 miles.
We had broke the record the first year we did it at 1,090.
Yeah.
So we were 4 laps down at Indy.
Right. Exactly.
So we ran 9th and 4th the first year, and then the second year we ran 6th and 3rd.
And that was 99.
99 and 01.
Yeah, right.
So and that was.
And you weren't out running triathlons.
That was the second time. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Shoot, the first year I didn't even have a trainer.
Yeah.
And didn't know anything about diet, and I was so nervous the morning of the race. I ate 2 little mini bagels with just plain mini bagels.
99.
Yeah, and was drinking like a fish because I'm like, I just don't want to be dehydrated.
Yeah.
And with about 30 laps to go in the 600, we're running fourth, and I'm like, the yellow line on the bottom looks like it's 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
A hot dog wrapper blows across the backstretch, and I think it's a pink elephant with polka dots on it.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, I need to be anywhere but in this car right now.
Right.
And that's when Senior pulled me out of the car, put me on the ground. He goes, "You had enough yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all set."
Yeah.
And then the second year, Gibbs made me hire a trainer. He goes, "I'll let you do it again, but you have to have a trainer." So we had a guy that was in their off season, Carolina Panthers, and he was with me for 3 weeks. I lost 7 pounds in the 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And my girlfriend had drove us home the first year in '99, and every corner, every time she got on the gas, got on the brake, I thought I was going to puke.
Yeah.
The second year, same girlfriend, she slept all the way home, and I drove us home. And if I could have found a 30-lap or 25-lap main event to run a sprint car race, I would have ran 3, because Matekas had done, I think Mario Andretti had done that, ran 3 races in one day with those guys.
Yeah.
Back in the day when you could actually do that.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm like, that'd be cool to say I ran Indy 500, the Coke 600, and some dirt race main event.
Yeah. What was the big change in diet or fitness with that guy? Because I assume you weren't easy to work with for him.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Because he'd hand a Dixie cup in and it'd have apple juice in it, and I'm like, that's all you're gonna give me is a Dixie cup of apple juice. He goes, "No, trust me." He goes, and he knew exactly
he had
different times of the day what he was given and why he was giving it.
Right.
And I finally got to. He's like, "Listen, I don't ask you about driving the car and why you drive it this way.
You just do what I say.
You let me do my deal. I let you do your deal."
Yeah.
And he was a cool guy. But the night before the race, I remember he said, "You can have whatever you want." I go, "Whatever I want." Well, there's a pizza company called Pizza King. They got little square pieces, and oh, dude, I ordered a large for myself, and I ate the entire thing.
How long had it been prior to that? Like being on his fitness regime, how long had it been since
3 weeks.
Oh, Jesus, yeah, I get it.
3 weeks was like torture for me to not eat what I wanted to eat.
Yeah.
Right.
And so finally, the night before the race, he's like, "You can have whatever you want." And it was like I almost felt guilty the whole time I was eating it because he'd already left for the night.
Yeah.
And here I am with this whole pie. I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is awesome." And like first 4 or 5 bites, I'm feeling guilty for eating this stuff.
Right.
I'm like, I've come this far and worked this hard to do this. And he goes, "Trust me, it doesn't matter the night before the race. You're fine. Do whatever you want." Because it does not matter.
So is pizza your thing?
Everything's my thing. Are you kidding me?
He looked down when he said it.
It was a look that went with
You
it.
don't build a toolbox like this, dude. out of lettuce and salads and this and that. Now, I'm a Midwest guy. I mean, I'm steak and potatoes, but I love chili. Anybody that can cook really good chili, I love chili.
All right.
Love pizza. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we got a really good Japanese steak. We have 2 good Japanese steakhouses in Columbus now. I love sushi and Japanese steakhouses. So
people give you did you get from other drivers or other people in the sport? Like, you know, you look at Edwards, who's got like on the cover of Men's Health, and like you said, Casey and Jimmy are like triathletes. Would they ever bust your chops about it, or just like...
Carl did, and then he did it one more time after 2011. I said, "Hey, Carl," I said, I'm proud." He mentioned, he goes, "Look like you're losing a little weight," and I knew he was being a smart ass doing it. Which Carl wasn't a very good smart ass. He's way too nice a guy to be a smart ass, but it was his attempt at being a smart ass.
I think challenging you for that's probably the wrong,
there were about
wrong
6,
guy.
Well,
Right.
there were about six of us drivers at the drivers meeting at the time, and I said, "Yeah." I said, he goes, "You look like you're losing weight." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I actually think I gained a little bit," but I said, "How many championships you got again?" And he never said a word about my weight again ever the rest of his career. Never once brought up my weight again.
Right.
Would you ever deliberately walk next to Newman, just for perspective?
Why do you think I hired him?
Okay,
He
good
was the
man.
first driver I hired at Stewart.
Nice.
So I love walking down the grid because it's like, man, he makes me feel so much better about myself.
Right.
So he's just a stocky guy, but Newman's a big guy, but he's just big. He's just stocky.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in shape.
Yeah.
And he's
Just a
not
big dude.
riding bikes and running triathlons. He's out working on his ranch and,
The real deal.
he's doing man stuff like Dale Sr. used to do.
Yeah. It's awesome. Have you ever seen the ESPN movie 3?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know Senior that well. I mean, I'd only got to run 2 years with him.
Right.
Which the last half of the first season, where we were in points, we were beside each other every week in the garage area.
Oh, cool.
And that was really a cool experience. Getting to know him.
Right.
The second year, we just knew each other better after that first year.
Yeah.
And I got along with him really, really well.
I could see you being his kind of guy.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
got along real well.
You didn't hire 10 security guards to walk around track with you. like
to
others.
protect the security guards. Yeah, they had him and I go if they needed protection. So
You don't seem like you need the security.
I and Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. and Jeff probably dealt with it better than anybody I know of, and I'd say Jimmy Johnson does too. I never was a big. I never got autographs. I never wanted pictures, and it freaked me. It still to this day freaks me out if somebody comes running up to get an autograph.
Okay.
In the garage area, even if it's one person, when they run up there, it freaks me out.
Yeah.
I get anxiety because
So-
I never liked it.
Right.
People thought I hated the fans, and I was the opposite. I love the fans. They used to
Which is
when I raced sprint cars and stuff at IRP. I used to be the last guy out of the place. They would start turning the lights off, like you gotta leave. You know,
Yeah.
when we're walking somewhere, there's times. I mean, they will sit there when you're coming in to walk in the garage, and there's one gate to go from the bus lot, the driver owner lot, to the garage, so they know where you're coming in at.
Mm-hmm.
And if you sign 30 things before you get to your car, if you didn't sign that 31st, you're an asshole.
Right.
It's like, I got stuff to do, man. This is my job. This is what I get. My job is not to sign autographs.
Yeah.
It is when I go to autograph sessions, and when I
Right.
go to autograph sessions, there's more times than not that we stayed late and signed after
Right.
and signed for more than what we were supposed to sign
Sure.
for.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind doing it. I'll sit and do that all day long. I hate doing it at the track.
Yeah.
Hate being bothered at the track, especially when you're having a bad weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to be cordial. It's hard to be accommodating when you're pissed off.
And your mind's
You're
not
running
there.
bad. You're
Yeah.
trying to figure out what do you got to do, how are you going to fix this, and you know you've had a crappy morning practice on Saturday.
Yeah.
You've had the 1 hour break or hour and a half or 2 hour break or whatever, and you're going back in knowing that your car's not going to be any better.
Right.
And somebody crams something in your face, they trip over you, trip you. It's just nonstop. But I that's what I always admired about Dale Sr. and Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon. They handled that so much better than I did, and I wished I could have handled it better. I just never could wrap my arms around it. I mean, it wasn't that I didn't like the people, but and there are a lot of NASCAR fans that weren't like the ones I'm describing here.
Right.
The ones that just would come up and talk to you like you were a normal person.
Yeah.
I would sit and have a conversation at the trailer after it was over, after debriefs were over,
Right.
and would talk to people I didn't even know. But as soon as somebody'd come running up and screaming your name, then it's like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And that's what would ruin it for everybody.
Right.
I don't mind sitting and talking to people and just having a conversation
Yeah.
if they just treat you like a normal person. But when they freak out and, you know, it's all about how they approach you.
Yeah.
You know,
So now that you're doing the team owner thing, because you had the driving background and you sat through so many debriefs and cars that weren't handling for like races upon races, and then you also had the success for races upon races. When, let's say, Harvick's having a shit string of races and he's pissing and moaning, are you going, this guy, like, dude, we're doing the best I can, or are you like, I know what he's talking about, like, listen, hear him out?
It makes me feel like somebody kicked me in the gut.
Oh, okay,
Because
like
it's like
taking
because
responsibility.
I don't know what to do to fix it for him,
Right.
and that's what you want to do. It's like the hard part. I quit going to the debriefs now because every year as things are changing with the cars. I mean, that's a whole new aero package this year.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot less downforce in the back and the front, but it seems like the trend has been that the cars have been freer this year. So there's really nothing I can do to help. You know, there's no
Yeah.
input because I haven't driven them. I don't know what they feel like,
Right.
and
Sure.
what difference they feel like.
Right.
I can't say, well, why don't you just do this? Well, I did that once, and they said, well, yeah, I tried that, but it makes it worse when you do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
It's like, all right, well, the stuff I'm doing is irrelevant now in 1 year.
Right.
It's irrelevant. So, and there's still stuff of how to get around tracks and stuff that you know, you can help with. But, you know, I don't even go to the debriefs because it's like I really don't have anything that I can contribute to it.
Right.
You got to drive the McLaren a few years ago. When is Gene going to put you in one of his cars?
I think he realizes the only way that it would work out for him to put me in the car is to only put about 10 liters of fuel in it to where I can't run very long, but about
And that's
half
it.
a dozen laps and it's going to run out of fuel.
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
But, I mean, he said they could work it out. I just, that was a pretty cool experience. I think the reason I haven't done it is because I know that if I do it, that I'm going to get on some stupid diet that's going to really
I was gonna
make
say,
me
like,
mad, and then I'm actually going to try to want to do this.
I'm not trying to be funny, but can you fit in one? I mean,
Yeah,
you just,
I fit in the McLaren.
Okay, fair enough.
Which Lewis will tell you that I didn't fit and that they had to do this and that, and literally, I mean, it was so impressive to watch how good the technology is with those guys.
Yeah.
Because they literally, I mean, my seat insert which you guys, I know you won't believe this, the seat insert I ran since I have been at Stewart Haas Racing is a Jimmy Johnson seat insert.
No
It's just the shoulders both shoulders are opened up an inch. I got
Sure.
2-inch wider shoulders than Jimmy does.
Right.
But the rest of it I fit. I'm fat front to back, not side to side.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's kind of my problem. It all circles right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so basically what they did is the Hendrick group got them a scan of the seat of the insert, and then they manipulated it and got the angle correct.
So you could do that.
And but the core of it that was my mold, they sat there and got that at the angle it needed to be. And literally when I showed up at Watkins Glen the night before, I sat in it, and the only thing we changed in the car, they moved the heel rest back 1/8 of an inch. Moved it toward me to get so my feet weren't like this. It relaxed my feet a little bit.
And that was it.
That's the only thing they had to change on the car when I got there. The belts were exactly the right length. I mean, everything was spot on. It was crazy.
So Lewis Hamilton's a dirty liar.
Yes.
Okay, that's out
Scoop.
there. That's
Breaking
a scoop.
news.
Yeah.
Wait till I see him, because somebody just told me this recently that Rico Abreu, a friend of mine that races sprint cars.
Oh, yeah,
we want to have
yeah,
him on.
And Rico told me that when he saw Lewis at Monaco, that Lewis was joking with him and said that they had to take all this stuff out of it. Which, what do you take it? It's not like you're taking the whole interior out of a car.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we had to take the dash off.
Yeah, they didn't have to do that.
All right, put that there, and then
I was amazed of how I mean, I thought, man, this could take a couple hours, and literally, I mean, I sat in it for about 15 minutes just because I got in there. I was so comfortable. I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
And as I sat there and kept my feet there, I'm like, okay. I sat in there longer than it took to drive the car, but I was like, okay, is there a possibility of moving the heel rest back just a little bit?
Yeah.
They said, yeah, how much? I said, I don't know.
That was it.
1/8 inch, 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
And so they literally in 2 minutes it changed that. And they're like, how's
That's
that?
all it took.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
So it was great.
How pissed were you that day was wet?
It really, honestly, it didn't matter to me. I didn't care.
You just want to do it.
I just was happy I was going to do it. And I never got to drive in the rain much anyway. By the time I got to run Lewis's car, the majority of the track was
Fairly dry.
Yeah. There were 3 spots that water was still running across the track, and there were a lot of damp spots, but only getting to run 4 laps, it didn't matter. They kept the rain tires on because you can burn them off in 4 laps, and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I knew when the tires quit, though. I knew when it started blistering.
Right.
Okay.
I could feel it.
That's
It was
cool.
about halfway through the 3rd lap.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of you driving in the rain, does anything stand out from the 2007 Daytona 24-hour?
yeah. Is that the year that Dale Jr. ran with us?
It was in a Crawford and it poured rain. I think it might have been the last time you did it because you ran with him early on at Daytona.
That was when I got in the car. Dale had just got out of the car, and Hoosier was the tire supplier at the time, and when I talked to Max, Max goes,
This is Max Crawford.
Crawford.
Yeah.
He said, he goes, I think I'm going to have to put you on the hard rain tire. I'm like, okay, whatever. I said, what's a durometer? He goes, it's about like an 85 or something. I said, what's the soft? He goes, about a 55. I'm like, oh, that's a big difference. He goes, yeah. He goes, I'd rather have you on the 55. He goes, but I don't think they're going to have enough.
Yeah.
So I spun out 3 times on the outlap.
I was in one of those 911s you talk about. It was my debut as a GT driver at Daytona, and you're in the Crawford. Yeah, something like that. And so I'm second in line, even though I'm a million miles down, and you were like 4th or 5th from the back of the DP field at that point. And we go green, we get through turn 1, can't see a thing. It is just spray and terrible and everything. And we get into 3, into the first horseshoe there, and you loop it at the apex, and I go around the outside. I was like, whoa, And
I made it 1 lap on those hard tires, and they called me in, put soft tires back on, and I got the lead at the end of the stint. I was 2 laps down.
Yeah.
When I got out of the pit, I was 2 laps down, and by the end of that stint, the last, I think, 20 or 30 minutes of that stint, we were under caution because it was heavy rain at that point. And if you remember, at the end of that race, we were leading by a lap and 3/4, I think. And where the rocker is on the rear suspension on the right rear, it broke.
Yeah.
Well, it broke because I spun off of NASCAR 1 and came down on the right rear on the apron.
Right.
And I'm fairly certain I'm the reason it broke.
Really?
I think it probably fractured it or stressed it there.
Interesting.
Okay.
And at the end of the race there, when it broke, I'm fairly certain that I'm the reason
And
it did that. But
that last hour it was going away. I mean, you could see it.
But I didn't really, I think I was only like, I don't know, 3 seconds or something slower.
Because this was 04?
4 seconds,
Right.
yeah.
2004, I think, yeah.
But it was like 3 or 4 seconds a lap slower.
Yeah.
Which was plenty fast enough to
Because you guys had
still
so many
win
laps
by a
up.
lap.
Yeah.
And you'd come off of turn 4 down to come down the front stretch, and it would just sit there with the left front off the ground, about a foot off the ground. And it's like, as long as it doesn't, nothing else is moving around, Max is like, you can just bring it to us, and we'll try to work. I'm like, they tried wedging a piece of 2x4 in there, went out, that lasted 2 laps, and it broke that.
The old DPs.
And I'm like, he's like, bring it to us, we'll fix it. And I said, Max, I said, I can drive it like this. I said, let's just run it out. We can't afford to pit, you know. So we kept running, and I told him, I said, we got a loose wheel. Just keep going. Sure enough, the wheel comes off, and then I'm high centered, sitting backwards at the end of the backstretch, right before the chicane, watching cars coming down, and they're just wide open. I'm like, oh my God, a guy that slides through here, gonna drive right over top of me.
Right.
But yeah, it was, should have had an Indy 500 ring, should have had a Rolex.
That's actually what I was going to ask. Is like, I mean, you've led Indy and been in a really good spot. You've almost won Daytona, the Daytona 500. You've been close. Which is the one you feel like has gotten away from you the most?
I mean, still on the IndyCar side. My first year at Indy in '96. Yeah.
Because it seems like the Indy 500 is that's the race you love.
That was my marquee deal. That's why I told everybody. So that's the blank spot at the top of my page that is reserved. Kurt Busch and I had, and I don't know what year it was, Kurt Busch and I were the 2 dominant cars at the Daytona 500 one year, and I got a speeding penalty and went to the back, and we were so tight back in traffic that we freed it up to get through, and when I got to the front and got back to the point, I was too free, and Kurt was right behind me, and I got loose in the middle of 3 and 4, and when I tried to gather it up, he got in the back of us, and it crashed both of us, took us both out of it, which was the part that really made me happy about us being able to win this year together. Right. Win the 500 and kind of made up for when I screwed him out of the one that, he had a shot at winning. We both had a shot at winning, and we ended up winning one together. So, but that was the one at Daytona I should have won, and then the Rolex that year.
That's a tough
we
one.
should have won that one too. I mean, I felt good because they didn't put us on hard rain tires the rest of the race. Nobody had to run on those anymore.
Right.
But I was pretty proud. I mean, I wasn't really the road race specialist in the group, Andy Wallace was, and to get us the lead back, I mean, at the end of my stint, that was something I was really proud of.
Yeah, sure.
I loved racing in the ring because if it got loose, it didn't bother me. I didn't care. It just
dirt.
It just was fun. It was. I never had the opportunity to race in the rain in anything, and so that was a highlight for me in the road course deal, was getting to run in the rain like that. But that was definitely a letdown to lose that with such a big lead. It wasn't like we got outran at the end of the day. I mean, we had them covered, and with a wounded car, could sit there and run around there and have enough pace to win the thing. Yeah. I mean, that whole year was fun. Jan, I mean, you had to almost get on one knee to talk to Jan because he's like 4'11". So, but he was awesome. I mean, I really hope it works out that I can go and run with him at Le Mans, because that's something that was his idea way back in the day.
Right. Next year, honestly, if you want to do it overall, next year's a really good year, because the kind of customer cars that can run in the P1 category will probably be somewhat in a parity with the Toyotas. It'll probably be the only manufacturer car that's entered, so you only have one manufacturer car that notoriously breaks down a lot. So it's a good year for a non-factory team to really have a shot at it. So if that's what he's looking at, it's a good year to do it. So
I'll be honest, if I get to just go and participate at Le Mans, I'm going to be happy.
Okay.
I mean, I can promise you I'll do a lot of iRacing before we go there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Because that's something that's new for me. I do a lot of that now.
Do you race at Tony Stewart?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Do you have the radios turned on when you're doing iRacing?
Oh, yeah.
So you hear people just nonstop talking? With you, it's got to be awful.
It's actually pretty funny because, most of them, it's the first time I've raced with a lot of these guys.
Sure. Are you doing the NASCAR stuff, or are you doing?
I do it all.
That's awesome.
I don't do it all. I shouldn't say it. I don't do any of the road racing stuff yet. I just got a nicer set of pedals that have a hydraulic feel to the brake instead of a spring, and can control brake pressure and this and that. Yeah. But it's fun because I have the headset on, and Rico's the one that actually brought one of his buddy's units down there, and then I got one, and so our monitors are back to back, so we're not sitting there catching each other's screen.
Right.
But we'll be in a room, and he won't talk to anybody, period. And I'll sit there and I'll sit there and act, because they just assume after they ask him a couple questions that you don't have a headset on or anything, so you're not hearing it.
Yeah.
So I just sit there until they say something that really ticks me off or something that's funny, and then I'll get on there, and then they all start chatting it up.
Oh, God, yeah,
of course.
And I finally got to go, hey, I don't know about you guys, but I actually like to listen to the engine when I race, and it's hard to hear with everybody talking. Because you'll be in the race, and they'll still be chatting it up.
Oh, yeah. No, I do a lot of the NASCAR stuff on iRacing just for fun. I'm terrible. But I can't get enough of how much they talk.
Oh, it's nuts.
Like a f***ing yellow comes up and it says, well, this guy did this, and then I'm like, why? You know?
So I got in a wreck the other day. 3 wide. Well, it ended up being 3 wide. My spotter says 2 wide. So the spotter pack I got's the Chad.
Oh, you got
Canals,
the Chad.
Earl Barber.
Yeah. Okay.
I love
haven't
it.
gotten that far yet.
I told Canals yesterday. I said, hey, on iRacing now. I said, I finally get to race for you. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, I listen to you all the time on iRacing. I said, I got the spotter pack that gives you crew chief in it and Earl spotting.
Yeah.
I said, so you're talking to me every race, whether it's a dirt race or whatever.
Right.
And he just started laughing. I said, I just never got a chance to drive for you, so I at least feel like I get to drive for you now.
Yeah, it's
so,
probably cheaper this way.
Yeah, a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Power bill went up, but it's a lot cheaper than the cars. Penelope hates it. She absolutely hates it because
Well, it's time away from her.
it's time away from her.
video games.
And I've got a really bad habit of racing until about 5 in the morning. And
My guy.
she's a light sleeper, and when she wakes up, she cannot fall back to sleep. And as soon as I hit the keypad and unlock the door and walk in the bathroom side of the bedroom, he hears that and starts barking immediately. And she's mad the rest of the night.
Now, I like to say that iRacing, for me, is very realistic because the anger I get when I f*** up is very authentic. Are you still the same guy in iRacing?
No, because I haven't got a paycheck yet or anything from iRacing.
Fair enough.
What is odd about it is, like, I run a lot of the dirt stuff now.
Okay.
And Ricky Saunders and Corey Wetzel and there's a bunch of these big name guys. They're big
really
name
good dirt
guys in iRacing.
Yeah.
They're not, just like there's big name guys in real dirt track racing. These are big name guys in iRacing. And like Corey Wetzel's sent me some setups and stuff to help me get going. And so it's kind of cool to race with those guys. And, you get into a race. I'm finally high enough in iRacing
with like the rating system and all that.
I'm in their cut.
Okay, cool.
So I'm racing with the good guys when I get in those.
that far.
And so you get in there and they're like, hey, how's it going? And, I'm good. Go out and run a decent lap. And they're like, hey, good job, good lap. But like Corey Wetzel, he drives with a like an Xbox controller or something.
Really?
It ticks me off. I've spent like $10,000 on monitors and cockpit and all this stuff.
Right.
And I got 3 steering wheels. They're all quick release wheels for this thing that I got. And I'm still can't run these guys. The guys are running gaming controllers. It kills me.
All right, so back to real racing. Okay, so
what do you mean? You mean all these hours I'm spending down there is not real racing?
I can't criticize. I do it just as much. Yeah.
Yeah, once that iRacing check comes in. Just like direct deposit.
There's like $1,000 to win dirt sprint car race at the end of the year somewhere.
How dare I?
I obviously will not be entered in that race, but I'll most likely wherever I'm at, as long as she doesn't catch me, I'll have it to where I can watch it.
Right.
I want to see who brings home the cash.
So Indy's sort of your big missing kind of blank space right now at the top of your book, so to speak. Now that I know you're still driving, but now that you're sort of out of the Cup Series and able to relax a little bit, if Chip Ganassi or Roger Penske comes calling saying, hey, I'll put you in for the 500, would you do it?
So I have a running invitation from Penske.
From Penske. I remember that a couple of years ago.
And it was funny because the last year that we had the IMUS trade show in Indianapolis, went to dinner with Roger and Chip, and Roger had Cindric and Chip had Mike Hall, their main guys, and Linda Vaughn and Keselowski was with us. We had Keselowski at the kids' table. We had him back there with Linda. So, but I got to sit at the big kid table.
She would destroy him.
She spent more time flirting with me at the other table.
I was going to say she would destroy him.
Yeah.
Oh, he wouldn't know what to do with her.
Right.
So, he's still playing with himself in the shower. So, but I was sitting there, and Roger was second from the end on the opposite side of the. We're on the same side of the table, but he was on the opposite end from me, and he was second from the end, and Chip was past him on the very end. And when Roger brought it up again, Chip leaned over and to where I could see his head past Roger's head, and the look was like, if you sign up with him and don't sign up with me, I'll kill you. Like that's what the look looked like.
Right.
So, and Mike Hall, he saw it, Cindric saw it. They're all smiling and laughing and carrying on and stuff. So it's pretty cool. And then I actually got another offer in the last couple of weeks. I got another offer to go run Indy next year. So I don't know. Been there, done that.
Oh, come on, man.
So is that
right now?
We all want to see it.
Is that
right now?
right now?
Well, everybody wants to see it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've had such a miserable year with my sprint car team that I'm just trying to get back on form myself.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out the things have changed in the 2.5 years I sat down with those things, and trying to just figure out what we got to do to get going again. Everything that I've learned and everything you used to do driving wise, all the drivers that drove like I did are like, you can't do it anymore. They said you just got to sit there and fry the tires, and if you lift to stick the car, they said it just falls over and skates out. And I just can't break the habit right now. I haven't been able to break it yet.
Yeah.
So it's been frustrating. Cool. It's like I'm trying to find every opportunity I can to run my sprint car now. And I went to 2 weddings this year with my girlfriend, which that's the dumbest thing a man can ever do. If you have a 38-year-old girlfriend, that's a girlfriend, obviously. She's single. She's your girlfriend. But don't go to a wedding with her, because it's the worst thing you can do. Yeah. Because they're on the time. They got the kitchen timer on.
Exactly. And you're just giving excuses to ask.
Oh. So. Well, both times when we left there, in the car driving home from the wedding, she got mad at me. And I never said a word. And I got in trouble.
Didn't give a reason to.
You never want to get married. You never want to have kids. Why do we need to get married? Everything's fine the way it is.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If I can promise you, if you hear that I'm getting married, the prenup is amazing.
And just a scroll.
That we have that there's video confirmation and a psychiatrist there that says she's of sound mind, and that.
Excellent.
Because I'm the same way. When Jeff Gordon got divorced, I was so mad for Jeff Gordon, and I was still racing against him with Gibbs, and I wanted to hug him every time I saw him for the first 6 months after that, because
it was brutal.
She raked him over the coals, and I'm like, that girl never ran one lap in that car.
Yeah. Right.
Not once.
Yeah.
Why in the hell does she deserve all that?
Yeah.
So, and don't give me that bullshit of, well, she got accustomed to that lifestyle. Well, she only got accustomed to it because he introduced her to it. And it was the luxury because he made the money so she could enjoy it.
Risked his life.
So risked his life every day, every weekend, 3 days a week to make that money.
Yeah.
So it's a sore topic, but I got a really good girlfriend that's like, well, I didn't make any of that money. I don't deserve any of it. I'm like, all right, we still got a good thing then.
Right.
So
I always wonder this about people that have made a fortune off of something like this, because without the love of your father, and obviously his love for the game, you don't become you. Did you buy them something cool?
Yeah, well, I told my parents, I said, I made him, which my mom didn't really care, which I think my mom's an idiot for this, but it's the only time I thought my mom was a legitimate idiot. The rest of the time, she's a loving, sweet, caring, smart woman.
She's not going to listen to this.
Yeah.
Even if she does, she knows, because I call her an idiot to her face. I said, you're an idiot. I told him, I said, if I ever make it big in NASCAR and make it to the big time, I said, I'm going to buy you guys each a brand new Corvette. Which to me, I mean, at the time, that's
a big deal.
That's big money, for not getting a contract doing anything yet.
Yeah.
2 brand new Corvettes. My dad's like, hell yes, thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate that. My mom's like, I don't need it. I'm like, well, you're an idiot. That's just it. That's just being an idiot. Everybody needs a brand new Corvette.
Everybody could take a Corvette.
Who doesn't need a brand new Corvette?
Right.
And the only person that doesn't need a brand new Corvette is the person that's getting a brand new Ford Mustang instead.
Boom.
So,
company man.
That's right.
I would argue an NSX, but I hear you. I totally hear you.
Yeah, see, that's road race guys.
Well, that's who's paying my bills, man.
Yeah.
They got wine crates in their trunks.
Listen, pal. I'm from Winder, Georgia.
Winder?
Yeah, Winder, Georgia. Yeah, you back it down.
Well, all right.
Mr. The Smoke.
I thought you were going to say like wine country or something for a second.
No, Winder. Yeah, solid Winder. We got a dirt oval.
I like it. See, there's hope for you yet.
I'm going to be okay.
You'll be all right. You'll make it. So the thing I did for my dad, though, is for one Christmas in the first couple of years that I finally got my Cup deal, I bought him a brand new Legends car.
Ah, cool.
Had it painted up and had his name on the door and everything. Yeah. The couple of years before that, I'd went on this Christmas tour, so I went to, I don't remember how many houses in 36 hours to friends of mine and done Christmas with them. So it got literally big enough that you had to take a trailer for all the gifts and stuff. You couldn't get them in truck and everything. So, and one year I think I had like 4 or 5 snow blowers that were gifts for different people and stuff. So you had to have a trailer.
Yeah.
So he didn't think anything about it. I rolled up there and said, "Hey, I need you to help me get something out of this trailer." So everybody in the family knew and came outside, opened it, and I rolled it out. He just about lost it. So my dad will be 80 in April.
Okay.
I have since fired him from Legends car racing because he got upside down twice this year.
What's he doing?
Well, the second one, I actually saw the video on the second one. The second one was not his fault.
Okay.
I feel so bad for him on this one because he junked his car. He bought some guy's POS, brings it to our shop. His Legends cars are at TSR in Indiana. So Donnie Schatz's World of Outlaw sprint cars, my wing sprint cars, and my dad's 2 Legends cars.
And then the Legends cars, right.
Which is the first thing you see when you come in the back door, which is the way I come in. So the first thing I see are just 2 boxes sitting there.
Yeah.
So,
now, do they have dedicated crew guys?
It's him. That's it.
Okay, he's working on it.
At least he's doing it.
It's just him. He doesn't have anything else to do.
You ever threaten some
79.
of the Cup car guys, like, hey, I'll bust you down to Legends right now?
Yeah.
No, but I'll be there this week, and I think I'll bring that up.
That's the
I
new
like
one.
it.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it. I am going to use that probably tomorrow, probably
Right.
before lunch tomorrow,
There you go.
which will mean I've only been there for about 15 minutes.
As a team owner with the Stewart Haas NASCAR program specifically, 3 years ago now, Kurt Busch gets into a bunch of trouble in the media and is accused by his girlfriend at the time of like a domestic dispute thing. You guys stood by him the whole time. So often now in any type of entertainment, when something like that, whether it's true or not, goes public, it's very often that the person just gets the boot right away. It's like, we just have to abandon. We can't have ties with something like this, even if it's not true. You guys stuck to that, like, no problem. Is that a you and Gene Haas thing, or is that a company policy in general? Or
No, it was
like a person. Was it
Gene,
personal?
yeah.
Like you guys were like, no, we know this guy.
I mean,
like,
because we knew it was going to be investigated, and if after the investigation they said that he had done that,
right.
then obviously we would have taken appropriate actions.
Right.
But I could sit here and say that you clubbed me over the head with this beer glass.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
It doesn't mean it happened.
Yeah.
And so, and it's obviously the reason it's such a big deal, and it's a sensitive topic because it does happen in real life. I mean, that's a real life issue.
Yeah.
It's something that should never happen. Period.
Right.
But at the same time, we're in an era now where people will take every opportunity to take advantage of every situation they can.
Yeah.
And she's in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah.
Or what
Yeah.
was. I don't know what the end result of it ended up being, but
Sure.
she got in a heck of a lot more trouble than what she caused for him.
Right.
On a whole different topic.
Yeah.
So that even reinforced us that it was BS to begin with.
Right.
But, you know, I knew her and I knew her son because we'd hired Kurt and got along with her great. And actually, I ended up getting a FLIR camera. She got me a FLIR camera for my property so I could see deer at night.
Nice.
So I wanted to see, I was like, I guarantee you 10 minutes after dark, this field that I sit in for 4 or 5 hours, there's nothing happens.
Right.
As soon as that sun goes down, they come in there, and sure enough, I caught 15 of them in a field about within an hour.
Right.
After the sun went down that night.
Yeah.
But you know, they were fine, and you know, Kurt's hard to get along with, but she is too. I mean, she wasn't the easiest person to work with or get along with, but you know, that's why we thought they were a pretty good pairing. You know, they were equally difficult, but I will say this: getting out of that scenario and after Kurt's first marriage, I'm really proud of him for the scenario he's in now and who he's with, and his demeanor's so different. I mean, he still has days that are bad days at the track, and you know, he's a little abrasive on the radio to the crew guys, but you know, that Kurt Busch of old, I mean, I can say with a lot of confidence is gone.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'm happy for him. I mean, he's created his own bad road, and a lot of the stuff I did, I created my own bad road too. But you know, how you come out of it at the end of it, I think, is what defines you as a person, and I think he's really grown as a person, and you know, he's a great race car driver. He can drive the wheels off anything he gets in. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
You're probably the most qualified to talk about it, but how far do you think Kenny Irwin would have gone?
Kenny would have been fine. He would have won a championship for sure. Oh yeah, with Yates, absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean,
No
you
doubt
guys
in my
grew
mind.
up together, basically running in the same circles.
Yeah, and I know he was in the 42 car, but I mean, I think he would have been more than fine. He would have won a championship eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of the best race car drivers I ever raced against.
Yeah.
By leaps and bounds.
Because it was kind of to me, it was an odd scenario where, you know, Gordon came up through the USAC ranks and he was sort of the big poster boy, and then you come up, you have the same result. Kenny showed up, wasn't quite getting the same results, but he also wasn't in it long enough. And then Yaley, for whatever reason, just didn't ever quite materialize. And
Just JJ was never really a pavement guy.
Is that really it?
JJ was an awesome dirt driver.
Yeah.
He was just kind of an okay pavement guy, but I was kind of responsible for getting him down to Gibbs there, and I really thought both him and Leffler.
Yeah.
But I really felt like they were two guys that deserved opportunities, and I really thought it would work out for both of them.
Yeah.
I thought if I did it, they can do it. And you know, JJ, it just didn't work out. I just don't think it ever. I don't think he ever got us comfortable.
Sure.
You know.
Who, in your mind, who is the greatest guy that never became a legend?
Oh man, Robbie Gordon.
Funny enough, we'll see him tomorrow night.
Robbie Gordon.
Yeah.
I love Robbie Gordon.
Robbie Gordon and Kenny Irwin were the two most naturally talented people I've ever raced with.
What do you think Gordon's, I don't know if problem is the right word, but
His
what do you think
head.
it's held him? Yeah.
His head.
Yeah.
Outside of race car, Robbie is coolest, most fun guy you can ever hang out with.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. As soon as he puts a helmet on, it's 4 sizes too small and cutting the circulation off.
Yeah.
I mean, and he can still drive. I mean, he can drive anything, but just, I think, bad decisions.
Yeah.
But as far as raw natural talent, no doubt in my mind, Robbie Gordon and Kenny Irwin were the 2 best that I ever saw.
Yeah.
And I would throw Kyle Larson in that group too now.
Interesting.
Those 3 are the 3 most naturally talented people I've ever raced with in my life.
That's awesome.
More so than Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Sr., any of them.
With the Kevin Ward Jr. situation, a couple years ago, it's obviously been reported on. One of the things I always wonder about when the tough gets going in a career like you've had, where everybody wants to be your friend because you're a championship-winning driver, you're man of the people kind of guy, like you're that guy's guy. When the shit hits the fan, you guys stuck with Kurt Busch over his situation. Did you have any fallout from friends that you thought were friends that a situation like that brought to light?
Not one.
Yeah.
And actually, people that I didn't think I got along with,
Really?
you realized how much of a friend they really were.
Yeah.
It was, that's by far the single toughest thing I've ever been through in my life.
For sure.
People that I knew, I didn't know firsthand, but I knew of in racing, reached out, and all that. Especially after the criminal side of it, after the district attorney had his findings and had his report. But from day one, I mean, the entire racing community, with the exception of their close personal friends in racing, obviously, they just were open arms and what can we do, and just want you to know we're thinking about you.
Right.
I got messages from people that I never ever thought I'd ever get a voicemail from in racing. And aside from that, it wasn't even just in racing. It was the entertainment industry and musicians that I hadn't met before reaching out. It's like, man, I don't even know how they got my number.
Right.
But it was just amazing. It's but you get that, and then you get the polar opposite of that too. You get Nancy Grace, who doesn't know anything about me.
She's trying to get a headline.
Say what she says.
Yeah.
Good Morning America saying what they're saying, and they don't know me other than the stuff we've done with NASCAR, which they had us doing a fashion show the last time I was at Good Morning America.
Nothing
and I'm
speaks like NASCAR.
We're NASCAR drivers on championship week, and they want us to dress up and do a fashion show.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I threw a stink about it, so Good Morning America didn't like me anyway. And because I'm like, why are we doing this? It's irrelevant. It's not relevant to what we do as a sport.
Yeah.
Now when you see these guys go on shows, you saw on, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel or something. They had a couple of the drivers, Clint or Kurt and somebody, and they were in their race uniforms. And it was relevant. It made sense.
Right. Sure.
But that one didn't make sense for us with Good Morning America. So needless to say, we don't watch that channel. We damn sure don't watch Nancy Grace, and we don't listen to Eminem anymore either. He threw us under the bus in a song.
Yeah.
I didn't know
the
that.
lyric that was kind of.
And now it sounds like there's a lot of people that don't really care about Eminem anymore after his latest deal. So
I don't think I'm keeping up.
You're on this podcast trip, man.
Yeah. Did something blow up in the last week or two with him? I don't know. Whatever.
I guess he got on a big rant about Trump.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
We're not a political show by any means, but in the current limelight is this huge athletes taking a knee scenario. And I've heard a couple of things in your Periscope where you're like, I'm watching the NFL tonight unless Colin Kaepernick's playing. That's something that just sticks in your craw? Like you just can't let it go? Or
part of it that hit home with me, and the reason I was so vocal about it, is there were a couple female police officers in town, the town that I grew up in, that I went out with. And so I hear the stories firsthand and know what they went through. Right. And here's Colin Kaepernick that never had to worry about anything in his life, talking about the struggles and this and that, and it's a bunch of BS. A guy that doesn't know, and to talk about, anyone that's talking about police are talking out their rear end. They don't know what they're talking about because they don't do it. Unless you do something, it's just like somebody saying, just like race fans that sit there and say, "Oh, he's a terrible race car driver." Well, can they beat me?
Yeah.
If I'm a bad race car driver, or anybody, whoever they're talking about, can you go beat them? So, well, no, because you don't know what you're talking about. And that's what really upset me about Colin. And here's the thing about I'm fine with players standing up for what they believe in. The part that's disappointing, and I guess to a certain degree I understand why they do it when they do it, because that's their only time to show unity, and that's the only time during their game when they can do something like that. But there's so many people that have fought to give them the right and the ability to make millions of dollars playing a game. And I'm no different. I mean, I got paid a lot of money to drive a race car, so I'm in the same boat as those guys. But there's a lot of people that have fought week in and week out in wars overseas, and people that fight every day, so we have the sanity in our country to be able to go do stuff like this. And it just, that's the frustrating part to me, is I'm all for people having their causes they want to stand up for, and I'm 100% behind them on that. There's a lot of stuff going on out there that's not right, but I think it's just like a lot of the other topics we've talked about tonight. There's the few bad apples that ruin it for everybody, and especially now, especially with the police officers. I'm always going to defend police officers. I got sworn in as a reserve deputy sheriff in Fayette County, Alabama. I know a lot of officers, whether they're sheriff's department, police department, state police. I know a lot of people that serve and make crap wages.
Yeah.
Get paid crap wages and sit there and have a lot more risk each day when they go to work than I did driving a race car 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's where I got a little frustrated on that topic. Is here's a guy that's complaining about that,
right,
and doesn't know the first thing about what he's talking about, other than what he sees on the news.
Right.
And that's a guarantee. That's the only place he's seeing it is on the news. So.
Yeah.
Changing subjects. You can time? Are you getting escorted out?
She's telling me what she ordered me.
Fair enough. We do a pass along.
How kind is that, by the way? That she literally was like from over there, like, is it okay? And then she writes a note. Like, she can come over here, take my headset off, tell you what's happening, put my headset on properly, and we'd be like, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way she is.
Good work on that one.
We got ready to go to bed the other night, and we had the ceiling fan on the night before. And she's like, hey, is it okay if I turn the ceiling fan off? And I'm like, hey, you don't have to ask me to do that. Just turn the ceiling fan off.
Right.
She's like, I'm just trying to be courteous. I'm like, I get it, and I love you for that, and I appreciate that, but you don't have to ask me to do that. I said, if I get in there and it's too hot, I'm going to ask you if I can turn it back on.
Right.
But turn it off.
Yeah.
She goes, well, I don't know. If I turn it off at home in L.A., my house gets hot. Well, if I get hot, I'll turn it back on.
Right.
But she just, there's times when there's so many nice things she does that it absolutely drives you nuts. Because I'm way too much. But here's the thing, too. She's that nice, but she's every bit as big a smartass as I am.
Oh,
okay.
She's got to be to hang with you.
She can run with any guy I know.
Yeah.
She's Mexican descent?
Yeah.
So she's got the Latin temperament?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Immediate Spanish when you start up?
No.
Oh, she speaks English still? She doesn't.
She speaks bad Spanish and bad English.
Oh,
she never was. She didn't do either of them really well.
So do we.
Yeah. So we have. What is that thing? So we have coyotes and raccoons.
Yeah.
So we call it coyote and a raccoon.
Yeah.
She calls it coyotes.
Yep.
And raccoons.
Raccoons.
I'm like, what in the hell are you? What? Who? They're raccoons. And then she goes, how many deers do we have now? Well, honey, they're not deers. They're deer. So she'll say, how many fishes did you catch today? So now she does it just to piss me off.
Oh, right.
She knows exactly what she's saying.
Yeah.
What I can't remember. There's one that's just the polar opposite of that. So she'll just mix it. She does it just to make you mad.
Right.
But we're a good fit for each other.
You ever call her Penelope? Kind of mess with her?
Well, that's what Siri calls her, which is awesome.
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Siri doesn't call her Penelope. Penelope. She goes,
Gotcha.
Penelope.
Yeah.
And so when I get on Siri, I say, call Penelope. And he goes, did you mean Penelope?
Right.
So when I get on there, I go, call Penelope. Calling Penelope.
Right, it works right away.
Easy
Yeah,
enough. It's
exactly.
like, all right, just got to learn the language.
Where's she from in L.A.?
West Hollywood.
Oh, okay. How do you like West Hollywood?
As long as I don't have to buy anything, it's awesome.
You're good. Okay.
But
it's a lot of snappy dressers there.
It's about 10-minute drive to Rodeo Drive from her place.
And
that is a bad. It's cool to
bad
drive
place
past
for you.
it,
No,
but you got to make sure you drive at a pace that it's uncomfortable for her to think that she can open the door and jump out.
Copy.
Yeah.
Yep, I
You got to
understand.
drive fast enough she thinks there's going to be a risk of getting hurt if she jumps out of the car.
Right.
Okay.
On that topic, you pulled up tonight in a sweet, I'm guessing 2018 Ford Expedition Explorer or something like that. Do you have any toys? Are you a toy guy other than like all the hunting and fishing?
Oh yeah, and it's a great deal because we have a partnership with them. But I like side-by-sides.
Yeah.
And we're partners with Articat, so I ride an Articat Wildcat, and Greg Biffle actually took one, tore it down, and he does his conversion to it. Put a snowmobile, 1100cc Articat snowmobile engine in it.
Yeah.
It is absolutely out of control. It's insane.
And he has a whole business doing that, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's awesome. Greg does some great work.
Yeah.
So Greg did one for me, and then I get new units each year from Articat to ride and test out. So
Right.
And Robbie Gordon's actually just finished up a project with him, doing some suspension work for him on their new model that's coming out. So it's pretty kick-ass stuff they got.
What about cars? Do you have like a garage full of shit you shouldn't have bought?
Yeah. Penny called. She goes, "That's new money." I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah.
She goes, "That was a new money purchase, wasn't it?" I'm like, "Yep, it was. Sure was." First trip to Barrett Jackson, had to buy 4 cars.
Nice.
So, so a lot of that stuff I'm selling now, but and not out of necessity,
Right.
Yeah,
Just
it's
for
like, what are you
funds as
doing?
much as I need necessity of I need more space in my shop.
Right.
So
Right. We probably got a guy that works in that shop that's like, hey, I need to work here.
Yeah.
Clear it out.
Yeah, it's I think we have like 16 car lifts.
You're right.
So above is full and below it is
Sure,
full.
yeah,
It's like
it's double
when
stack.
you get over double digits in car lifts, you need to either build a bigger building or you need to get rid of some.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So I started getting rid of stuff.
Okay.
A lot of it is I keep gathering race cars that I've driven in my career. So I have all 3 of the Cup cars I won the championships in. I have the Daytona crash car from 2001.
Oh, the big crash, yeah.
And I actually have the car from the week before that at the Bud Shootout that Dale Sr. ran second to us in.
Yeah,
I beat him 2 years in a row with that car, and I got that car out of it. I've got the car we won all the road course races in. I've got a bunch of different Cup cars. Got my first win car.
Yeah.
And I've got my last race car, as well as the 3 championship cars, too.
That's a lot of cars.
Got my IROC championship car. All the cars from the 95 Triple Crown season. I got all of them but 2. We ran 2 different pavement cars and 2 different dirt cars. Halfway through the season, they built a new pavement car and a new dirt car to finish the year out. And one of each of those I didn't get, but I've got the dirt sprint car. I've got both the pavement sprint cars and the Silver Crown car that I won the championship that year. And got both of my Chili Bowl winning cars, my Turkey Night winning car. Got the car that I won my first World Outlaw race in. Got the first car that Steve Kinzer drove for us when he started driving for TSR.
Okay.
I got all of Donnie Schatz's Knoxville Nationals cars.
So when does the museum open?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
You got to get an old Menards Indy car in there.
I actually have 2 of the 5 Indy cars I ran the Indy 500.
Of course you do.
And I have the one that I took the lead in '98, my last full-time season, and the next lap blew the motor. It is sideways on my wall in my basement.
Cool.
Hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do you have an I Love Me room at home? Or is it just
No,
like,
I actually don't. What the area that is beside where that Indy car is was supposed to be a trophy case.
Yeah.
And I got into collecting helmets and trading helmets with drivers.
Cool, yeah.
And so there's no trophy case or anything like that. I've got a Winston Cup trophy, Nextel Cup trophy down there sitting below the Indy car.
Right.
The IRL championship trophy, but other than that, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they're all in storage. You know, and if we ever get a museum, we'll put it in there. But I mean, a lot of the Xfinity, like the bunch of the trophies are in my shop, sitting on a shelf up there.
Right.
Which is a total disgrace. I'm the idiot for doing that. But I needed space.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad I got them out of the storage unit that I had them in, because the drug guy broke into my storage unit and raided it and then was selling it to people. So.
That sucks.
So the sheriff's department's been gathering pieces of stuff back up, and so
good times.
It's always that story.
Oh yeah, you gotta love it.
You're not alone.
Yeah. So we do a pass-along question from guest to guest, and earlier today we had breakfast with young Ryan Blaney, and his question for you was, when are you going to give my dad a World of Outlaws ride?
I'm actually currently trying to get his dad to sign up with the Articat All-Star Circuit of Champions and run full-time with us next year, which I did see Dave the other day. But, yeah, Dave was that's a great question. I don't know. I'm still trying to not get fired from driving my own car right now. So there's really not a seat open right now. But yeah, it'll be a really big deal. I've been trying to get both Dave and his brother Dale Blaney to come back to the All-Stars full-time. It'd be awesome for our series to get both of those guys back and get them running with us again.
Yeah.
Cool. Our next guest is Chocolate Myers, who we're heading out to. Anything you'd want to ask him?
Oh, gosh.
It doesn't have to be racing related. It's going to be anything you want.
Mario Andretti asked Parker Kligerman if he likes dogs.
Mario asked that?
Yeah.
We think it's because he didn't know who Parker was.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Because that would have been good if he had asked Mario to ask me a question. It would have been funny to hear what you had, because we had lunch during the month, early before the month of May started.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
we had plus we went to Marco's wedding and saw him there too. But Mario was a lot of fun. So I bought a Silver Crown car that AJ Foyt drove back in, God, I'm embarrassed for not knowing this. I'm going to say 73 maybe. And so they did the big tribute to AJ this year at Indy. And before they got AJ out there, Mario climbed in AJ's Silver Crown car. And I'm like, oh my God, if AJ comes out here, he's gonna absolutely lose his
Oh,
Yeah.
So Mario's laughing and having a big time, and AJ doesn't know that I've had dinner with him, and this I'll never tell him because AJ he'll disown me.
So is that real, by the way?
Huh?
Is that real? The whole AJ?
Oh yeah. So if somebody brings him something that Mario has already signed, he will not sign it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
'Cause he
Now if
signed
they
it first.
say if they say, all right, we're getting your signature, and then we're gonna get
As long as he's first.
Yeah.
Mario's,
Yeah.
he'll
That's
sign it
fine.
first,
Yeah.
but he won't sign it second.
Yeah.
So if we try to get AJ on this podcast, which we don't think we ever will.
Well, now we
can-
won't because we had Mario.
We can never admit that Mario
Oh,
was
you
already
can't say
on.
you had Mario.
Yeah,
Yeah,
copy.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Till it's over.
Yeah,
Till the end of it when
we'll
you're
slip
done getting
it.
material.
And then he'll still beat both of our asses,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
nothing we can do about it. Yeah.
So my helmet collection, I've got 3 of AJ's helmets, and I've got 1 of Mario's, and I got them on the same shelf right next to each other. Because I'm like, there's no better place.
Right.
I got Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell,
Oh, wow.
one shelf apart, but they're Steve's
Directly.
above Sammy, but
Okay.
Right.
because he's taller than Sammy. So,
Sure.
But they're right next to each other too. So I had to put the rivals together.
So tomorrow we're going to meet up with Chocolate Myers.
Chocolate.
I could ask
I
him
gotta
one
think of
thing.
something here for chocolate. Ask him if he's always cried like a baby, or was it just the fact that the first win after Dale Senior passed when Harvick won, was that the only time he's cried, or has he always cried like a baby like that?
We're hiding behind you on that one.
Yep.
And when you tell him I asked him that, he will laugh,
Okay.
because we used to have the show on Sirius,
Yeah.
2-hour show on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yep.
Well, their show was right after ours.
Okay.
So there were times when we would finish our show and then I would stay on and be in the first segment of their show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to give him.
If you anonymously give us a Robbie Gordon story to call him out on.
God, Robbie about crashed. I don't know, about 8 of us pulling out at Daytona. There's the one clip of Robbie and I going at it.
Yeah.
And it was because he about destroyed us, and it was happy hour. And he was trying to get in the draft. Well,
Yeah.
the problem was we were all at speed, and he wasn't up to speed yet. And I pulled out to go around, and he went over to block me and about crashed us all. And I'm like, what the f*** are you? I said, you're a fucking idiot. I said, you're going to crash us all right during happy hour before the Daytona 500? And he spouted off, and I spouted off because we're same mind and all that. And that didn't go very far. But
Right.
But I told somebody a long time ago, because him and Kenny were about the same time with me, and I was like, man, those are the most naturally talented drivers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Could get in anything. Kenny, if he'd ever got an IndyCar, would have been badass too.
Yeah.
I wish he could have got to do that.
How much did the Kenny accident affect you?
You know, and I'll tell you an eerie story, and one of those things that it's just kind of, you tell people that and they can believe it, but it's like it's just creepy. We got in the cars for practice in
At New Hampshire?
New Hampshire that day, and they had ran modifieds before that.
Yeah.
So we sat there, didn't want to be first out because the rubber's different, and we were going to sit for about the first 10 minutes. So I was already in the car, already buckled in, had my helmet on, and they called. The spotter said, "Hey, there's a big wreck in turn 3." I said, "Who is it?" They said, "It was Irwin." And without even hesitating, I said, "Is he okay?" And I never asked if anybody was okay.
Yeah.
Just said it was a big wreck.
Yeah.
And for some reason I said, "Is he okay?" Something didn't feel right. Something inside me did not feel
There's a
right.
tone
So
or
I told me
vibe
that
or
it was
something.
Kenny.
Yeah.
And I said, "Is he all right?" He goes, "I don't know. I'll let you know." He goes, "I'll let you know when he gets out." Didn't hear anything. What's going on, man? Has he got out yet? Is he moving around? What's the deal? He's like, "Oh, they're cutting the top off and this and that." All right, well, let me know when you get him on the stretcher and he waves, to everybody.
Yeah.
Didn't even see it, They had it all blocked off, and he's like, "I don't know, man." He goes, "It doesn't look very good." And it freaked me out. But we won that race, rain delay, but we had dominated the whole day,
Yeah.
and rain happened, and as soon as it started raining, I'm like, "All right, bud, thank you. It's yours. It's for you." And
Yeah.
that's what I told him when I did the interview, I said, "This is for Kenny." I said, "I'm pretty sure he knew we were starting to lose the handle on this thing toward the end here, and he just finished it off for us."
Yeah.
So something else that's just as eerie as that. The very first race I ran after Leffler passed was that weekend in Wisconsin. Big, awesome battle with, I can't think of his name, Bill Baylog. And awesome race. Fans went nuts. Pull in the victory lane, got out of the car, did the interview as soon as I said the last word in my interview.
So it's coming down.
Started pouring down.
Yeah.
Not just starting down. And I mentioned Jason in the interview.
Yeah.
As soon as it was over, it started raining. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, read into that how you will.
And sure, it could be just a coincidence, I'm sure. There's no doubt in my mind it could be a coincidence, but
Yeah.
it's just, I found it ironic in both of those scenarios
Yeah.
that happened like that.
Yeah. Happier subjects. AJ Foyt we haven't really covered, but I mean that was growing up. That was your guy.
Oh yeah.
Is it cool that you're as close as you are now?
Yeah, I mean it's. He always tells me, he goes, "I won 4 Indy 500s. What have you done?" I said, "Well, how many Cup championships do you have?" And then he goes, and he always wins on this because he goes, "Just check the record books, big boy." I'm like, oh man, it's hard. It's hard for me to win after that.
Right.
Yeah,
I can go toe to toe with him when it's Indy 500s versus Cup championships, but it's like, man, when he pulls that line, I'm screwed at that moment.
Yeah.
He knows he always wins.
Yeah.
But it was, it's been pretty cool to get to know him, and I can get away with saying stuff to him that 99% of people, including some of his family, can't even get away with saying to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well, I assume. Do you? I mean, everyone equates you to being sort of the modern
the
version.
next version of him.
Do you equate that? Do you agree with it?
I didn't for a long time, and it's like the longer time had gone on, after running Rolex and driving all this different stuff, it's like, I kind of get it. After we did the seat swap and I ran the F1
Well,
car.
you did this interview, so that's the one difference.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes.
That's where this interview might be enough to put me back on top.
There it is.
Debate with him.
There it is.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Nice sell.
That might put it over the edge again.
There we go.
Even the odds up.
You get like he's like burning through you while he's
Shots
saying
fired.
it.
Yeah.
You guys drink together?
No, I've never actually. Well, I know he drinks wine, but I'm not a wine guy, so it's like when they start drinking wine, I'm just like whatever.
Yeah.
You can find me a nice cold Busch beer. I'm content and
I
happy.
like that you're a company man.
Sponsor plug.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sponsor plug, but here's the great thing. I mean, I single-handedly have caused them to have to hire more people and work extra shifts because
Put a dent in it.
I'm consuming their
Well, you've
product.
had
I'm a
6
believer.
Busch beers since we've been sitting here, man. It's impressive how clear you are.
Well, you do it as long as I have. I mean,
I'm a
you got to
professional.
show them you're dedicated to their product. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have one of the biggest pranksters in the paddock on your team with Kevin Harvick. You yourself.
He's not as big as I am.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say
I'm much
you're
stronger
supposed to
than
be
him.
the king.
Yeah, I'm much stronger
All
than
right,
him.
let's hear it.
I'm much stronger than him. Actually, the better stuff was actually when I raced IndyCar. Larry Curry, our competition director, and I used to ride everywhere together. So, because that's the only way he knew he could get me the track on time was for me to ride with him.
Right.
I like his style.
So we'd actually left. A bunch of stuff had led up to it. I mean, at first the crew guys found the car that we were getting ready to go to the track in for a test, and they'd put grease under the door handles.
Yeah.
They put bread in the tailpipe, put chocolate syrup on the windshield wipers.
Oh, good.
So when you turn
Yep.
the wipers on, he put something on there.
Yep, so you
and
need
then when
'em.
you did that to
Catch
clear
them
it off,
yeah.
Yep.
oh, it was big.
Yeah.
So the crew guys were kind of a big deal, and one of them put sardines underneath the seat.
Yeah.
I'd left my car. This was my car, not Larry's car. He didn't have to ride with me on this occasion. But I had left my keys in my pants when I changed and made a bad mistake there. So ever since then, I hid my keys. But by the time, that thing's been sitting in there all day.
Yep.
And it was under the seat. I couldn't figure out where the smell came from.
Right.
Because
Nice,
they poured the juice out on the carpet afterwards.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So there's no can, there's no
Evil.
nothing. You can't find where the smell's coming
Evil.
from.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
that one was like just the whole 3 days we were there testing it was just a wreck. One of the crew guys had talked about taking the valve core out of a van tire.
Okay.
Taking the fire extinguishers that just have the water in it and
Okay.
putting water in part of the tire
Oh,
and
there
then
you go.
putting the core back in it,
Yeah.
filling it back up.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
say eventually the tire is never perfectly balanced.
Right,
So
yeah.
eventually the water will gravitate to one area and it'll just get there and it'll start dribbling like a basketball. Just go bonk, 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 bonk,
Right.
bonk.
Yeah.
So I haven't tried that one yet.
Used to wheel
I was about to
weights.
say, those are not billable hours. That's a lot of time they're putting in here.
Oh, yeah. Trust me,
yeah.
there's a lot of thought with these guys that
Yeah,
went on. We left Loudon race. I think it was the year we actually won the race. And I was driving the car, and Curry was in the passenger seat, and the crew guys are in the minivan. Well, they opened the side door like they're going to do something or throw something at us, so I just guns them in and mashed the door,
Yeah.
and they couldn't shut the door. The door would not close it. They could get it about halfway up the track, but it would not shut. So it just
Right.
was,
That was it.
it was just munched.
Got 'em with the
So
guns
that was the that was probably some of the most fun we had with those guys
Yeah.
in this deal. But the one that I have on my hit list, the one prank that I've got to try that a guy told me about, is taking like 4 Barbasol cans, and you dip it in what is it? What's the liquid that freezes?
Oh, like liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
Put them in liquid nitrogen. He says, and you take them out. You take a can opener and cut the bottom off of them,
Right.
and put them in somebody's car. And when it warms up,
It
it just
expands. That is a great
fills
idea.
the entire thing.
Yeah.
Slap full.
I'm in.
So
I'm in on
I've
that.
got some candidates, some guys at the shop that are
Yeah.
big gabby guys that want to prove a point to. I don't want to screw their car up too bad. Now when I say that, like, I'm going to tape over the stereo and I'm going to tape over the vents so it doesn't go in the vents. But
Okay.
everything else,
Yeah.
speakers, I'm
for sure.
covering speakers and stuff.
You're a thoughtful asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I'm an asshole with a heart. Come on, let's be
There
realistic.
it is.
So are you
So-
the boss that people can fuck with?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. Because if you're gonna
That's
dish it
it,
out,
yeah,
you got to
you gotta
take
take it. I agree.
I'm the king of taking a tire torch and brake clean and going around the shop.
Yeah.
But you got to pick your targets,
Yeah.
and you got to be very efficient and quick about it, because as soon as especially now, if anybody sees me with a tire torch and a
They
can of
know.
brake
They know what's
clean,
coming.
Yeah.
everything stops.
Yeah,
Everybody will stop.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Productivity,
They're making sure
yeah.
you're not getting them.
Yeah.
Danica, the first day that she came to get fit in the cars, I got on a rampage. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, I went through 2 cans of brake clean in the shop. that day.
Right.
Luckily, they didn't send me an invoice or anything for it. But
Yeah.
I mean, I got the head shot guy, I got crew chiefs, I got engineers, I got machinists. I mean, you name it. I went to every department and I was crushing it.
Yeah.
This is a big day.
So at the end of the day, Danica comes in and she's doing her first fit in the car. So that was when she was still in IndyCar mode and putting her helmet on before she got in and all that. So she's got her uniform on, her shoes on. So I sat there and we had one of her suits, and I knew we were getting a bunch more suits. But I sprayed her leg with the pant leg with brake clean.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I got behind her and shot it, and it went right between her legs, but her leg was on fire. She's not a mark on it, because it's just burning
Yeah, it's just burning the cleaner.
chemical.
Just a little
out of it.
fire.
It's just burning the chemical out of it.
Come on.
But oh yeah, that was like, welcome to the SHR.
Right.
Did
Because
you
you had
get
Ryan
back?
Newman and I, and Ryan's a pretty good prankster too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
Ryan and I were toe to toe in that, and we had an agreement that we would not get each other because we knew that it would never stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Somebody's going to die eventually.
Right.
So,
'Cause
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You just got to know that when you got 2 caliber guys like that,
It's you and
it's
Montoya
like
at Homestead again.
It's like Donald Trump and this crazy guy in North Korea. It's
Right.
like these are 2 guys you just don't want to try
Yeah.
to keep up in the ante on, because eventually it's going to get bad. So-
right. Yeah. It's you and Montoya all over again.
No, Montoya and I are actually smart enough to know when to stop eventually.
enough.
These 2 idiots, and I voted for Trump, I'll be honest. I voted for the guy because I just thought any guy that can be that successful in business can surely get money right in the country, and I'm not so sure anymore. So I don't know what he's going to do here. But yeah, these 2 guys, I mean, to think these guys got red buttons and keys that they can turn and push buttons and stuff, starting to make me a little nervous.
Zipadelli, but as you call him Zippy, he's been your guy for like forever. Is the continuation of your career now with the team ownership and then using him kind of like hey, we get to still around together?
Yeah, but the part is I still feel like I work for him for some reason. And
You're like, it's the
to
wall.
this
Look at the
day-
wall. It's my name.
Yeah,
right?
I know. He doesn't remind me that, but I have to remind myself that, because I think he likes that upper hand feeling still,
Yeah,
like
sure.
he's running me.
Sure.
But I still can't get that through my head that he actually works for me now.
Yeah.
I still feel like when I get on the pit box and he looks at me, I'm like, what did I do? What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
But man's got a lot of responsibility. I think he does a really good job with it. And Zippy's, from day one, he was like a big brother to me, and we still have that big brother, little brother relationship.
Yeah. Gene Haas, I don't know anything about the man other than what you read, online or seeing what he does. Must be a pretty cool guy if he's happy to have you come in and run his team because you're known for being like, the cool guy that everybody likes. And he's a professional businessman in one sense, but also a team owner. Is he a prankster at all?
No. Gene seems a little weird till you get to know him.
Okay.
He's one of those guys that's so smart, he's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But he is brilliant. I mean, he's one of the smartest guys I know. And I really like being around him, especially if somebody brings up something. He normally will know something about it.
Right.
I mean, he's just that guy, and that's how he started, Haas Automation and the CNC business. I mean, he was working for a company, and they had a problem with a part breaking, and they were having problems getting another part to fix it.
Yeah.
And so he ended up finding a way to make the part, and so that's how he ended up with the CNC industry. Him and his sister were roommates in an apartment. He built his first machine, and he was running it 24/7 in their apartment.
Oh, shit.
Can you imagine having a CNC machine running in your apartment?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
your sister's got to love you to let you do this.
Yeah.
But I mean, can you imagine having a CNC machine in your apartment?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought having a little mini bar in my apartment was pretty kick-ass.
Yeah, right.
He has a
He's,
CNC
like,
machine
cranking out
running
machines.
stuff.
Yeah.
And just trying to make sure that his machines get durable.
Do you prank Gene Haas?
No. No. He's still the goose that has the golden egg and the golden key and all that. He still trumps me in the deal. I still need him to write the checks
Sure.
to keep the business going at times.
Right.
So I don't mess with him too much on that. But, I thought he had absolutely lost his mind when he told me he was going F1 racing. And I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be a one and done deal. I thought it was going to be 1 year and he'd be out of there. And, I mean, he's done more as an American-based F1 program than anybody else has ever done.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty proud of him for that. I mean, granted, the team, the stuff's all being done overseas, but it just, the cost of it to do everything out of North Carolina was going to be so astronomical that there was no way that it could make sense to do it.
Yeah.
But it's pretty crazy. I mean, he's one of those guys. He's not scared to try something.
Yeah.
I mean, I give him credit for that. I mean, he saw it. Kurt Busch's car was, Gene.
Yeah.
And that's when I was hurt with my leg in 2013, and came to see me. And when he got done, he's like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something." He goes, "I want to add a fourth car." And this is a year after we had just added a third car.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh God, these guys are going to kill us at the shop." But he's like, "Yeah, I want to hire Kurt Busch." I'm like, "Oh my God!" I said, "Do you want to get yelled at all the time?" I said, "There's no doubt in my mind he can drive a race car." I said, "But do you want to get yelled at all the time?" He goes, I think he deserves another chance." I said, "Well, I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm all in. I'm behind you 100% on it." And so we went forward, and I mean, it's been one of the best things to happen to Kurt in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And you got to win the 500 with him.
Yeah. Which is, it's awesome. I mean, and that's something that our organization's done. It's not that I've done, but I'm really proud that we've been able to, as a group, deliver him 2 championships and win all the crown jewel events in NASCAR. And this was, when the year before I was there, he had 1 car in the top 35 in points and 1 car just outside. They were 34th and 36th in points.
Right.
And we've turned that around in, I guess we're on year 9 now, but in 7 years there, we produced 2 championships, and in 8 years won all the, or 9 years won all the crown jewels now.
Yeah.
So that's something that's pretty cool. And Gene puts a lot of money into it and doesn't ask for much in return.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants results, but he doesn't demand anything. I mean, he's a pleasure to be around, and it's just nice to be able to finally get this guy some decent results now.
Yeah. That's cool, man. All right.
We'll let you go. Obviously you needed this podcast to be popular.
I told Penelope I didn't think I was going to be complete as a race car driver until I did this.
And I understand.
Well,
yeah. So what's
you're
the
welcome.
legacy? Is there a legacy you wanted to leave behind here?
Listen, I'm just happy to be here, man.
Yeah,
that is my legacy.
Yeah.
From day one, that's what I've told people. I told everybody, I said, if I got to the point where I could drive sprint cars when I was coming up through, I said, if I ever made it to sprint cars, I was going to be ecstatic and feel like a badass.
Yeah.
And now we're 16 years into owning a sprint car team. We've won, I think I've won 11 Knoxville Nationals now as a car owner.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many championships. I've won more championships as a car owner than I did as a driver.
That's cool.
Which most people don't realize.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was the USAC stuff because we were running Midget Sprint Silver Crown cars every year for a lot of years.
Right.
So, but we've won like 22 well, it's even more than that. If you add the TQ championships, that the car that I own that my buddy drives, him and a girl ran first and second the points for the second year in a row now.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many championships he's won. We've won over 22 championships though as an organization.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 30 with the TQ stuff in there. So
That's insane.
Well, nice job on the career.
Nice job.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah, no, trust me. The whole thing.
Did all right.
The whole thing was none of any of this stuff we talked about today. I mean, RC cars, Eldora, owning a Cup team, World of Outlaw teams. None of this stuff was ever part of a master plan.
Right.
I mean, it just everything that happened was a circumstance and an opportunity that came up. I mean, at first it was, getting to drive, driving for Mark Dismore with go-karts, and then
right.
a car that he owned, and the guy getting hurt. That was an opportunity that came, but all the business stuff that we've done since then, it's been insane. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of, like I said, Ricky Stenhouse almost single-handedly put me out of business. He crashed every car we had, and crashed 2 cars that we didn't even have done yet.
Nice.
He crashed everything. But man, he was either leading by a half a lap or he was coming in on a hook.
Right.
It was like, dude, and we finally had. It was the same thing that happened with Sherry and him at Roush. I got a call. He crashed the night before, destroyed a car, a brand new car, destroyed it the next night. And I had a call. Crew chief called me just madder than hell. He goes, "This is the last car. We don't have another car." And he goes, "I can't even build one in time. I can't even get another one built in the next week." So I called Ricky. I said, "Ricky," I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, I'm sorry about last night." I said, "Well, I heard you released fast." It's like, "Yeah." He goes, we were going good." I said, "Yeah." I said, "When you get a half lap lead, you probably need to back it down just a little bit." I said, "But here's even a bigger issue than that." I said, "If you crash this car tonight, we don't have another car." I said, "If you crash tonight, we're going to miss a race and maybe 2 races next week. So if you don't win tonight, it's okay. If you have to run second or third, it's okay. But you have to finish the race with this car tonight." So Sherry calls me, just years later.
Yeah.
Sherry calls me and goes, "Jack said that if he crashes," this was going into Talladega. Jack said, "If he doesn't finish Talladega, he's out. He's fired." So I got to call Ricky. Sherry calls me and tells me this. So I call Ricky. I'm like, "Ricky, so this weekend is a deal where a lot of stupid shit's going to happen because you got a lot of idiot drivers in the ARCA series."
Yeah.
I said, "The most important thing right now is if you don't finish the race Sunday, Jack's firing you. So I need you to start thinking about not winning the race, but just run decent and don't get yourself in any trouble. Stay out of trouble." So he got caught up in somebody's wreck in that deal. And I sat on the pit box the whole race. Gets in the wreck, then I go down there and I'm underneath working on it, because I'm like, if we don't get this kid back out there, and he doesn't go drive underneath a checkered flag, he's out of a job. And I sure as hell not adopting him again.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I'm just now getting to where numbers aren't red, they're black again. So get him fixed up and get him going again. And kid goes out there and wins a damn championship. I told him that. I told him, that race in 2011 had 2 rain delays, so by the time they do the photos with us, it's like 4:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and they got Austin Dillon was the truck champion, and Ricky, and then myself, and they got us out there, and I put my arm around Ricky. I was like, "Man, I'm glad all that money I wasted on you didn't totally go to waste. At least it produced something out of this deal." So if you'd have put me under and I was out of business and you didn't win a championship, I'd have felt like a failure. Austin's looking at me like, "What the hell is this guy talking about?"
What kind of pep talk?
Ricky's got his head down and just laughing, but he can't even look me in the eyes when I'm telling him this. It's just,
Right.
he was destroyed.
Right.
I destroyed him.
Well, we believe in you that one day you'll make it.
Yeah, you just keep it
I
up.
have
man.
hope.
digging.
Yeah.
I mean, I've joked around with Johnny Gibson, the announcer for the World Outlaws. I said, "I'm going to be the oldest Rookie of the Year in the World Outlaw Series one day."
Absolutely.
So I saw him we raced at Lakeside, which is 5 miles from the Kansas track.
Yeah.
And he goes, so is next year the year? I said, for what? He goes, Rookie of the Year. I said, I don't know. Because this was all before I bought a series. And but I said, one year I want to run the whole circuit and just to say I did it and see how asinine it really is.
Right.
Because I know our guys are ready to slice each other's throats 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And it's all because they're stuck on the road with each other. So if I can go out there and
I don't know
mix
what
it up.
that's like at all.
I mean, they go to California for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
They're gone from their families for 7 straight weeks.
Yeah.
And racing a lot and fixing things a lot. Yeah.
Well, you go out there and the racetracks they overwater them. They're heavy. Nobody can pass. They're greasy. It's a shit show, and they hate it. They hate going out there.
And the people there are terrible.
Trust me, I know. It's funny. If you stay south of the border, they're really nice. The parents and the potential brother-in-law, he's nice as can be.
Yeah.
But him and I, we struck it off right away. And man, him and I, she'll be on the phone with him. We'll be laying in bed at night. She'll be talking to him because obviously 3 hours behind. And she'll be on the phone talking to him, and I'll have to get my phone and I'll be playing video games. So I'll just click over, get contacts, get his name, dial him up.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta go. She's like, okay, bye. She hangs up. He goes, hello. I'm like, LJ, what are you doing? She's like, I hate you guys. She hated it for so long because her parents pranked me the first time I met them. Oh my God, most miserable night of my life. I was ready to break up with her.
Was it nitrous oxide in the?
It was a shaving cream.
It was shaving cream.
No, we show up and her father's got Parkinson's.
Okay.
Now, and it was fairly new when I first met him, and so we go to dinner, and her brothers went to Phoenix to the race with us, and we went from Phoenix out there to California.
Sure.
So he's got a doctor's appointment, so they're from Ensenada up there, and so they get there, and they're like, listen, you probably need to drink a couple beers before my parents get here. I'm like, what the hell's going to happen here? I'm like, if fucking lowriders start circling the restaurant, man, I'm fucking ducking out. I'm gone.
Yeah.
She goes, don't worry, you'll never see him.
You'll never
see the cars.
Yeah. There we go.
You'll never know them
Yeah,
until it's too late. So they come in, and we get up, and we help walk him over to the table and all that. And Penelope's sitting here. I'm sitting here. Her brother LJ's on the end of the table here. My pilot's where you are.
Okay.
Her father's right there, and her mom's at the head of the table over here. So, he's talking because she had already moved back to Indiana with me and living there in North Carolina, blah, blah, blah. I just want you guys to know I don't approve of this, of you guys living together.
Right.
I'm like, I'm under the gun here. I got to come up with something. I can't just not say anything and sit there, And it's not like high school.
And you're in your 40s and you're financially fine.
Right. What are you going to do?
And you're still,
But it's like, I don't know if this is Mexican culture and this and that. You don't move in together unless you're married or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I said, I can appreciate and understand that. I said, it's just really hard for us to spend time together with, me being on the East Coast, essentially, and her being on the West Coast. I said, it's almost impossible for us to spend time together if we don't. And that kind of got dropped for a little bit. Then they're like, drink your beer. I'm like, what the f***? I don't want to look like a fucking alcoholic in front of your parents, Drink another beer. So her dad looks at her mom, goes, ask him the question. I'm like,
here it comes.
I'm like, oh my God. And when the first question their dad said, she didn't say a word. And I'm like, what the fuck? She's got me out on a limb here by myself.
Right, back me up.
And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, is she scared of him? And, is she not allowed to say anything? Culture deal, I don't know.
Yeah.
So her mom looks at me and she goes, so what are your intentions with our daughter?
Here we go.
I'm like, holy f***. I can't get any further in the corner than I already am now.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm standing on wet paint, I've painted myself there. And I said, well, I said, now that she's moved back there, I said, we obviously get to spend a lot more time together and still getting to know each other, but I really enjoy being around her. I really care a lot about her.
Yeah. Right.
All right, I got past that deal, man. I'm like, holy shit. I left. I'm like, what the f***? And during this, Penny's over here like this.
Yeah.
Now, what I think is going on is Penny's like embarrassed.
Yeah.
But no, she can't say a word, and that's what she told me originally. She's like this in the chair because she's trying to not fucking laugh. Fucking asshole. So finally, eventually, they finally. I mean, this is like earlier this year. Finally, let me off the hook.
Oh wait!
For a year.
They kept it going for that long?
Oh, for a year.
Oh, so that whole night was ruined.
Oh, I was killed. I mean, I was destroyed. I'm like, when her mother said, "What are your intentions?" I was in my mind, and thank God I can think and not talk at the same time.
Right.
My thought was, my intention is to get up from this table, go out to the car, take her luggage out, put it on the sidewalk, and I'm driving back to the airport, and I'm gone.
Right,
and never going to be seen again.
Yeah. Wow, they really held that prank for a while.
Yeah, they win.
Yeah,
he's an asshole.
Yeah, he won. Yeah.
So now we go down to Mexico, and he's trying to teach me to say stuff. Well, what he'll try to say is, "Hello, how are you, asshole?" That's the last one he tried to teach me. So I don't even, anything he tries to tell me to teach me to say, I don't say it.
Yeah. ¿Cómo estás, pinche?
So I sit there and I always look at her mom. I'm like, so what is he trying to tell me? Teach me to say.
Yeah.
And she'll come clean with me. She likes me. They both like me. So.
That's awesome.
I'm like, man, because I told him when we went down there earlier this year, at the beginning of the year, I said, if I'm not home on Monday, if you call me and I'm not home on Monday, I said, you send somebody to Ensenada to find me.
I'm right here.
This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going.
I've seen the movies.
Yeah. Right.
If I'm not, you come down there and pass flyers out with my picture on it.
Right.
Find me. Go to the American Embassy and all that.
Yeah.
So.
Dating with Tony Stewart.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome. We need to let you leave.
If you're looking for something to do you want to drive for us season 4?
Yeah, I can drive.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
I got a lot of spare time.
Yeah. Okay.
Done.
Well, I mean, Jario's got your job
listen,
right now. Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, well, he's not going to hurt it. He's not going to drive fast enough to hurt it. It messes his hair up. He's got pretty hair.
He does. He's gorgeous.
Doesn't use product, we found out.
Yeah.
All natural.
No, that's the part that sucks. I mean, even on my best hair day, I got to put something in it. On my best hair day, and I got nothing for him.
Yeah. He's beautiful.
He's got us covered in that category. But yeah, he won't hurt it. He's not going to hurt the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I get in there, we've got to make sure next season and the days that I'm going to be driving on this trip that we got plenty of spare tires because I hit curbs, I jump over roundabouts.
I think we'll be.
Yeah, Continental's going to take care of us. We'll be all right. Yeah.
Right. I do silly stuff in it. So
cool.
But we're going to make good time.
Oh yeah, no question there.
That's no concerns there.
Right.
But in the meantime, Continental's got the check.
I'm finished.
Hey, Sherry, thanks for making that happen.
When you're down, you stay down. You give it all away. Honey, there is no mirror that could ever shield you from your pain. One step up, 3 steps down, and somehow you think you won. I would give anything more to see you play the cards you hold. And maybe if it were easier now, well, maybe then you might know. Oh, but since your life ain't pleasing you now, you give it up and no come and go. It takes time for the light to shield way to the dark. Cover yourself in diamonds, but you and I still share the mark. 40 days in a dreamland won't get you through the night. I hope for you that someday soon it all turns out alright. And maybe if it were easier, well, maybe then you might know. But since your life ain't pleasing ya, pleasing you, you give it up, no come and go. And maybe you should play the cards you hold. Play the cards you hold.